There's a reason the quietest person in the room is usually the one everyone's secretly afraid of, and it's not because they're shy, it's because silence is a weapon they've mastered without you even noticing. Back in 1971, a CIA interrogation study found something wild. The agents who got the most information out of people weren't the loud, aggressive ones. They were the ones who just sat there, said almost nothing, and let the silence do the work. People can't handle quiet. It makes them nervous. It makes them fill the gap with information they never meant to give away. That's insight number one, and most people go their entire life without knowing it. Silence isn't empty, it's pressure. When you stop talking mid-conversation and just hold eye contact for 2 extra seconds, the other person's brain starts scrambling. They think they said something wrong. They start explaining themselves. They start negotiating with themselves. You didn't say a word and you already won. Now here's where it gets darker. Silent people are dangerous because they're unreadable, and human beings are wired to fear what they can't predict. Think about every intimidating character in history, real or fictional. They rarely yell. The mafia bosses who actually held power didn't scream in restaurants, they whispered, and everyone leaned in closer just to catch what they said. That's insight number 2. Volume equals desperation, but restraint equals control. Loud people are begging for attention. Quiet people already have it. There's a concept from old military strategy called the fog of war. Commanders who revealed less information to the enemy always had the advantage, because uncertainty creates fear faster than any threat ever could. Silent people apply this in everyday life without even trying. You don't know what they're thinking, so your brain automatically assumes they're thinking something serious. Nobody fears the guy who tells you everything he's feeling in real time. They fear the one whose face gives away nothing. And here's insight number 3, and this one's going to sting a little. Every time you explain yourself, defend yourself, or over-talk in an argument, you're handing over power. Silent people know that the first person to over-explain in a negotiation is the one who loses it. FBI hostage negotiators are trained on this exact principle. The person who talks the least, who asks short questions, and lets the silence stretch, ends up controlling the entire conversation. If you've ever walked away from an argument feeling like you lost even though you were right, it's probably because you kept talking past the point where you needed to. If this is hitting different than the usual advice you're used to hearing, that's your sign this channel is going to change how you move through the world. Stick around because it only gets more real from here. Let's talk about body language for a second, because this is where silent people separate themselves from everyone else without saying a single word. Most people, when they feel nervous or small in a room, they fidget, they check their phone, they laugh a little too much to fill the space. Silent people do the opposite. They slow down. Slower movements, slower blinking, slower speech when they do talk. Psychologists call this a dominance display, and animals do it too. A predator never rushes, only prey rushes. Insight number 4. Your nervous system reads speed as weakness and stillness as strength, whether you realize it or not. That's why the calmest person in a chaotic room instantly becomes the one everyone looks to even if they haven't said a single sentence. Now here's something almost nobody talks about. Silent people are dangerous because they remember everything. When you're busy talking, you're not observing. But when you're quiet, your brain is free to notice the small stuff. The way someone's tone changes when they lie. The pause before they answer a question they didn't expect. The way their eyes shift when they're uncomfortable. This is insight number 5, and it's the one that separates people who read others from people who just talk at others. Silence isn't just about looking mysterious. It's a data collection machine. While everyone else is performing, the quiet person in the corner is quietly building a complete psychological profile of the whole room. And by the time they do speak, they already know exactly what to say and exactly what effect it'll have. That's not luck. That's not personality. That's strategy. Whether they learned it consciously or picked it up from years of watching people underestimate them. And that underestimation is the final piece of why silent people are so dangerous. Nobody sees them coming. Loud people telegraph every move. Quiet people move like they're playing chess while everyone else thinks they're just sitting there doing nothing. So here's the truth you need to sit with. You don't need to be the loudest person in the room to be the most powerful one. In fact, the loudest person is usually revealing the most weakness, not the least. Real power doesn't need to announce itself. It just needs to be felt. Next time you walk into a room, try saying less than you normally would. Watch what happens. Watch how people start filling the silence around you, how they start working harder to read you, how the energy in the room shifts toward whoever's giving away the least. That shift is not an accident. It's human psychology playing out exactly the way it has for thousands of years. The people who understand this quietly run rooms, run negotiations, run relationships while everyone else is still trying to be heard. So ask yourself right now, are you someone who talks to be understood, or someone who stays silent to actually understand? Because once you know the difference, you can never unsee it again, and neither can the people around you.